Fascinated by the cool story tied to their family's special old shirt, the guests shared how their grandpa got it from a really important guy named Mike Shortman, who was like a big deal in the Blackfeet tribe because he was so brave. The shirt has these neat designs made from porcupine quills, kind of like what Shortman wore. Shortman held the title of sub-chief and was renowned for his prowess as a warrior. They think it's from the Lakota tribe and might have been worn for fancy ceremonies back in the late 1800s. What's really cool is that Shortman's picture was taken by famous photographer Edward S. Curtis, making the shirt even more special. The shirt isn't just a regular piece of clothing. It's a super important part of their family history and a reminder of how awesome Mike Shortman was. And most importantly, it is estimated to range between a whopping $18,000 to $25,000.
This is a bigger responsibility than I realized, but it's a piece of my family history, so it's very important. Thank you.
The guest brings in a piece of glasswork. Jael Chihuly created it. The guest family befriended Chihuly, who gave the glasswork as a gift. Jael Chihuly is a famous artist who helped popularize art glass collecting. Early in his career, Chihuly worked as a glass blower himself, but after injuries, he began to collaborate with teams of artisans. The piece is unsigned and asymmetrical, typical of Chihuly's early experimental work. The appraiser estimates the value of the glasswork at $2,000 to $3,000 at auction.
I'm amazed. That's very surprising.
Wow, wow, wow. I am so amazed.
Perhaps one of the weirdest heirlooms you can get from your parents is a lamp, because usually most folks will pass down jewelry, a portrait, or painting, but today's guest has an exquisite kind of lamp as an heirloom. It's exquisite because it was created by a company called Tiffany Glass at the time of its making. In this company was a man known as Louis Comfort Tiffany. Louis Tiffany was the head of the company and is regarded by many antique lovers as an expert designer, and this lamp is no different, with his expertise evident through the exotically twisted metal. As an item created by one of America's finest designers, this lamp fetches an auction value of
Between $15,000 and $20,000.
Wow.
Wow. Wow. I am so amazed.
This posh wine, with its rich aroma and elegant bouquet, whispered tales of luxury and refinement with every pour. When the guest bought it, the item was covered in grime and appeared black. They cleaned it by the river over the weekend and discovered intricate figures underneath. The cool thing about it was that it was actually a really old and fancy piece, crafted by a famous silver maker named Paul Storr from England. A long time ago, he worked his magic on it. It had neat designs inspired by the ancient Greek. We have a reclining figure at the forefront, partially nude, with a beautifully textured background and skillfully executed tree. Alongside, there's a column symbolizing antiquity. On one side, there are vestals tending to a fire, while on the other, there's an anthemion representing an eternal flame. Intricately intertwined handles rise up, forming floral branches. The vase itself is the classic campana form, reminiscent of antiquity. The hallmarks of the foot, particularly the T for 1814, confirm its Regency period origin.
This is, I think, really one of the great expressions of design, silver design of that period.
In terms of English silver design from this era, the piece truly stands out as one of the finest examples. It could fetch a hefty sum at an auction, maybe between $40,000 and $60,000, especially if there were two of them.
This piece to sell today for between $40,000 and $60,000.
$40,000 to $60,000. Well, that wasn't a bad investment, was it?
Not at all. If you had a pair of these, it would sell for between $100,000 and $150,000.
Colleen Fesco, an expert in paintings, was contacted by a prestigious museum about a parrot painting and other items she appraised in El Paso in 2011. The collection included a watercolor of a parrot, a detailed drawing of a big cat, and 3 journals written by the guest's grandfather, Tom Ring. Tom Ring went on an expedition for the American Museum of Natural History in 1913. The collection showcases the close collaboration between Fuertes and Tom Ring, capturing the essence of expedition-style sketchbook keeping. The collection includes a study of birds, a hunt scene, and sketches of animals and humans, rare for Fiertes. Parrot Painting is estimated to be worth between $5,000 and $7,000, the hunt scene between $3,000 and $5,000, and the 3 sketchbooks with other drawings between $3,000 and $5,000.
Wow. Seriously.
Today's item is a miniature long case regulator, also known as the grandmother's clock, to the guest. This item holds significant family history as a passed-down heirloom. Crafted by John Shelton in the 1760s, who was a renowned London clock and regulator maker.
Who is a maker of fantastic early regulators. Really very special indeed.
Right. Featuring a 7-inch dial, it operates differently from normal clocks, which offer a unique and precise way of telling time.
A slightly unusual method of telling the time.
Indeed, and that always fascinated me as a child.
Despite its age, it remains in excellent condition. With its intriguing method of timekeeping, this remarkable piece would fetch
Be between £50,000 and £60,000.
Seriously? My, oh my.
A guest brought John Steinbeck's Nobel Prize speech to the show. This is John Steinbeck's signed Nobel Prize speech, which was given in 1962. He was a renowned American author who won the Nobel Prize in Literature in 1962. It is a signed speech and postcard that holds historical and cultural significance. These items symbolize Steinbeck's literary achievement and recognition on a global scale, offering insights into Steinbeck's thoughts and sentiments during that period. They serve as a valuable artifact for collectors, scholars, and admirers of Steinbeck's work. These items can be useful for research purposes. The appraiser values it at
Both of them together are probably worth about $2,000 to $3,000.
Really?
Yes.
I'm so glad I carried them with me across the country.
Right.
Thank you.
Oh, my pleasure.
Thank you.
The guest inherited a 1928 C.F. Martin 018 guitar from her grandmother who passed away in 1984.
I know that it's Martin because there's this little sticker inside that says Martin. That's all I know.
The C.F. Martin Company has been in Nazareth, Pennsylvania for a very long time, and they're known as the premier maker of guitars in America. This Hawaiian-style guitar, made with spruce, mahogany, and rosewood, was known for its simple elegance. We also have this very subtle edging here, also known as binding, which is made of rosewood. The other materials used on it are ebony for the fingerboard and for the bridge, with very small amount of ivory. While the guitar is in excellent condition due to minimal use, the small amount of ivory would need legal replacement before selling. This item is practically a time capsule with a case which is in perfect condition as well. Despite the slight selling hurdle, the estimated retail value of the guitar is between
in the range of about $3,800 to about $4,200.
Oh my.
So it's a pretty nice little package.
I guess brought a necklace and diamond ring to the show. She inherited from her mother-in-law.
And I thought of the jewelry that my mother-in-law had in the safe. And you've probably seen it more than I've seen it the whole time I've been in the family, and I've been in the family over 35 years.
The jewelries were made in China in 1920. They remained influential and cherished for its elegance and historical significance. The beads are rock crystal with beautiful little silver mounts. They are in different sizes and configurations of silver. The ring has a brilliant cut and Art Deco mount. Cultural shifts led to daring and innovative designs. Worn as status symbols to display wealth and taste. Diamond rings symbolize love, and for necklaces, they had various meanings. The appraiser valued it to be
The beads are about $1,500 to $2,000 as a retail price. And they used to bring a lot more, but they've come down, but still, it's fantastic. The diamond ring, a retail price on this, just for the stone, is probably about $28,000.
You have got to be kidding.
No. And I think the mounting, if you had to sell the mounting separately, that is probably a $3,000 mount. So basically, you've got something retail that's in the $32,000 range.
Good grief.
The guest inherited a beautiful Pairpoint lamp from their grandfather, likely purchased around 1910 in South Carolina. It's a puffy Pairpoint lamp due to its style and floral design, with the shade indicating it was patented. Pairpoint was manufactured in New Bedford, Massachusetts, but it was retailed at different stores. It was a luxury good at the time and was made for upper classes. They were really expensive. Looking at the base, it's beautiful with floral patterns adorning it.
This is circa 1905, and then they made them for a few years after that.
While the Pairpoint market dwindled, causing these lamps to depreciate, they currently have a nice value. At auction, this piece would sell for
an $8,000 to $10,000 retail market.
Oh, that's great.
Today's item would send chills down the spine of most viewers because it was used for an unconventional means. Called a pineapple club, this normal instrument was used by cannibals to hunt humans. It's called a pineapple club due to its spikes and how it closely resembles the spikes of pineapples. It's also from the island of Fiji. Despite being a weird item to most people, it auctions at the estimated value of
For $4,000 to $6,000.
Guest inherited the platter from her paternal grandmother, who lived in Santa Fe, where the platter was displayed prominently.
I know it's blue, it has horses, there's a country house or plantation in the background, and I love it.
The platter dates back to around 1810 to 1820 and was made in England's Staffordshire region. Staffordshire Transferware was crafted from pottery, not porcelain, and was meant for everyday use. Kiln stilt marks and peppering indicate mass production. A mark on the back reveals that it was made by William Adams & Sons in Staffordshire. Staffordshire blue and white wares varied in shades, with horse motifs being especially sought after. Because of its decorative appeal and horse motif, the platter's retail value is estimated to be for
platter would have a retail value between $1,000 and $1,500.
Wow.
So it's a really great example of Staffordshire.
Well, that's cool.
A guest brought Chinese Imperial dress uniform to the show. He inherited from his aunt. The dress uniform was worn by officials of the Chinese Imperial Court during the Ming Dynasty, 1644-19 to 11. The uniform was designed to reflect the wearer's status and position within the court hierarchy. It was typically made of luxurious fabrics such as silk, embroidery, and gold. The dress has a fascinating symbol such as dragons emblazoned in brass studs. Some unique features of the uniform include the use of specific colors and patterns to denote rank. The dress comes along with fur feathers, which are painted with dragon. The praise are valued to be
at auction $100,000 to $150,000.
Whoa. Pretty unbelievable.
A beautiful vessel was brought by the guest, which belonged to her mother. The appraiser identified it as a 19th century Chinese cloisonné enamel vessel. The piece imitated the design of burial pieces from the 12th, 11th, and 10th centuries BC. These vessels were typically buried with the deceased and filled with food to sustain them in the afterlife. Cloisonné was an ancient method used to create designs on metal items. This involved using colored glass paste placed within cells made of copper or bronze wires. The appraiser estimated the value to be around
It's worth about $3,000 to $5,000 at auction.
Oh, wonderful.
The guest brought Japanese cloisonné vases produced between the late 1800s and 1920s. The vases were purchased in different locations, including London and Italy, between 1971 and 1982. The appraiser dated the vases to the Meiji period, 1875 to 1915, noting their fine quality and tight wire work. The vases featured intricate designs, including songbirds, leaves, and geometric patterns on a midnight blue ground. 3 of the vases had silver or gilded copper mounts, while the 4th had worn gilding. Despite their age, the vases were in excellent condition, with minimal wear and no markings. The appraiser estimated that these exquisite vases will fetch a handsome sum at auction, likely around
between $8,000 and $12,000.
Here we have an interesting watercolor brought in by a guest. The guest inherited the watercolor from their parents, who received it from the guest's grandparents. The appraiser identifies the artwork as a watercolor by Edward Borin, a well-known Western artist.
He was really a cowboy's cowboy.
The watercolor depicts a scene with cowboys and Native Americans, which is unusual for Borin's subject matter. The appraiser highlights the vibrant colors and good condition of the piece, Borin was a cowboy himself and started sketching cowboys and cattle herders from a young age. Unlike many Western painters, Borin wasn't based in Taos or Santa Fe, but primarily worked in California. He was known for his watercolors, etchings, and illustrations, particularly for the Saturday Evening Post. Borin had a great association with other Western artists, like Charlie Russell and Will Rogers. The appraiser discusses Borin's popularity and the rarity of a scene featuring Native Americans in his work.
In New York, he was very popular. He had a studio that he dressed up in all this Western garb.
The appraiser estimates the value of the watercolor.
If this were in a gallery that was offering Western art, I think the price would be $35,000.
No kidding.
No kidding.
That's incredible. I never would have guessed that.
The gift came with the Love Token bracelet. She got it from her husband, who purchased it for $1. There are coins, and some of the coins are U.S. coins. There's a Canadian one. It's made out of silver. It's called the Love Token bracelet. It's a simple strip of silver that's built like a belt, caught on the back with a hasp. That is the Brooklyn Bridge. You can see the river below. The bridge started construction in 1869 and was a great marvel of its time. Appraised for $800 to $1,000.
My goodness. Wow.
The guest brought 2 Galley vases to the show, which she got from her mother. It was made by Émile Galley, a French glass artist and designer known for his exquisite cameo glass vases. They are 2 cameo glasses. They are characterized by their delicate and intricate designs, often featuring natural motifs such as flowers. The pink color makes them unique and attractive. Reflecting the Art Nouveau movement's emphasis on nature and organic forms, the appraiser values them.
I think that a safe conservative auction estimate for the pair would be $4,000 to $6,000.
Wow.
Okay?
Yeah.
And
Wow,
again, they're very nice pieces of glass, and it's a pleasure to see them.
More than just a precious stone, this jade pendant is a symbol of spiritual strength and ancestral connection. This piece is called a high tiki pendant, which represents an ancestor or goddess of childbirth. It depicts a carved human figure.
Some people think it represents the first man in Maori mythology.
Also, this traditional ornament is carved from nephrite jade, a precious stone highly valued by the Maori people.
Prized because of its color, and this is a beautiful color. It's often darker, and its hardness. It was incredibly hard to work. It took forever to make something like this.
However, this high tiki pendant is not just jewelry, but a sacred link to ancestral wisdom and protection that's worth.
This little break in the leg there actually doesn't make that much difference. So I'm still going to say it's worth between 12 and 15,000.
I just can't believe it.
I know a few people I could show this to and they'd be blown away.
Here we have the work of famed art illustrator Violet Brunton. Brunton was a painter, sculptor, and illustrator in the 1920s. She was known for often painting mythological subjects and preferred to illustrate fairy tale books, but she occasionally painted portraits. Her works are rare and nearly impossible to see at an auction. The owner got it at a yard sale for $15, but the appraiser estimated that it's now worth $800 to $1,200.
The Guest family heirloom is a furniture piece from around 200 years ago. The Guest inherited it from his father. It's been in use throughout her life. The appraiser identified it as being made around 1740, possibly in the Charlestown, Boston area, and suggests it was crafted by a group of craftsmen. The entire piece is walnut veneered with exotic veneers, featuring intricate carvings and gilded shells.
This is a high chest of drawers with a top and a bottom. It comes apart right here, so you can move the 2 parts around.
A similar piece exists in the Museum of Fine Arts in Boston, attributed to Ebenezer Hartshorn. The piece has undergone restoration, which has decreased its worth. The upper part, bonnet and lower part legs, and finales have been replaced. However, the brasses on the top of this case are original, while the bottom ones are reproductions. Given its condition and restoration history, how much would this item be valued?
I would put an auction estimate in the range of $10,000 to $15,000.
Okay.
What we have here is a Ming Dynasty Zi Wenwu figure that was brought to the show by this guest who purchased it around 1997. This is a Chinese handmade bronze cast figure that was considered a sacred item at the time. The figure is depicted holding a tablet, which is a functional piece used to write petitions to the emperor during that period. As a sacred piece during that time, it can only be found in Taoist temple settings and that was to be around the 16th to 17th century, indicating how rare this figure is. However, the appraiser values this piece at around $4,000 to $6,000.
Oh, really? Oh, ooh.
Going into a museum of art, one expects to explore lots of artworks. But today, we focus on the most iconic photograph of a 20th century photographer, Dorothea Lange. Lange was an influential American documentary photographer and photojournalist. This photograph, called The Migrant Mother, was shot in Nipomo, California in 1936 and is a photograph of a woman called Florence Owens Thompson, a migrant mother. This photograph tells a story about the life and challenges of migrants.
Captures a number of images, takes these photographs to a local newspaper,
And would end up helping the lives of the people in the camp this photograph was taken. A photograph capturing a heart-touching scene from one of the most important photojournalists of the 20th century should be well worth
$40,000 to $200,000 at public auctions.
I see. Thank you for all the information and history.
Here we have a picture taken by the famed American photographer Edward Curtis. Edward Curtis was known for his colossal project in which he chronicled the North American Indian culture, which he believed was disappearing. This particular picture was taken in 1905 of Geronimo, who was a leader and Apache warrior. The interesting thing about the photo is that it is an authorized copy of the original photo. Edward Curtis made many copies of his pictures to finance his expedition, which lasted for 30 years. The owner bought this copy in 1972 for $25. But how much did the appraiser think it was worth now? The appraiser pointed out that this photo of Geronimo was in the top 10 of Edward Curtis's most celebrated works. And for this reason, the picture was worth $10,000 to $150,000 in 2008. However, it was reappraised in 2022, and the value fell to $8,000 to $12,000.
Whoa! It's a great, great piece. Thank you for bringing it in.
Thank you for the information. This is wonderful.
This woman brought a San Diego Exposition poster to auction. The poster was from the 1915 California Exposition held in San Diego. The guest acquired this exquisite poster for a sum of $3,000 back in 2006. She was drawn to the poster by the presence of the words San Diego adorning its surface. The poster was a bird-eye view of the Panama, California Exposition. The Panama, California Exposition took place upon the opening of the Panama Canal. The appraiser remained uncertain regarding the authenticity of the poster. However, he suggested $6,000 to $9,000 for the poster. The guest was very happy to know about it.
Wow. Wow.
This cherished family heirloom has been treasured for generations. The family thought it came from a lumber mill in Oregon and has ties to a Native American tribe called the Klickitat. It might have been made between 1900 and 1925. It was probably used as a toy for Native kids. In the past, beads were crafted in Venice, Italy. But these beads, the yellow and red ones, were likely made in Czechoslovakia. They were used to make a model of a baby in a crib. No real baby ever slept in this crib. The doll is made to fit perfectly in the crib, and they're all made together at the same time. It's a copy of what would have been used for a young child in the tribe.
You have red Stroud cloth, you have cotton cloth, printed calico, green felt.
The baby's hood and other details show it was made with care. Mothers and grandmothers used to make dolls and give them to their daughters for many reasons. They were not just toys, they were also used to teach. They helped young children learn how to take care of a baby. The hair is most likely from a horse and the hide is from a deer. It was tanned using traditional Native American methods.
The face is hide. The facial features are very, very simple. The earrings are abalone, which would have come down from the coast.
Even though it's a bit worn out, it's still very valuable, worth about $4,500. And you might want to insure it for $5,000 to $5,500 to keep it safe.
Great.
These books were from the library that the guest inherited from her grandfather, who grew up in Japan and later became a professor at Stanford. The appraiser revealed that these books were published in Yokohama in 1885 and are a 2-volume set of first edition. These rare books belong to Joseph Heko, who was the first Japanese-American found at sea by an American frigate and brought to San Francisco. He published these books in 1885 in Yokohama when he returned. One of the books also had an inscription from the author. Considering their rarity, the appraiser estimated the price of these books to be...
Well, I would say conservatively that the pair would probably have an auction estimate of $6,000 to $8,000 in today's marketplace.
A vase inherited by the guest was showcased, originally belonging to her stepfather. At first, the guest doubled its authenticity as a Tiffany. However, the appraiser confirmed the vase was manufactured by Tiffany. The design imitated the ancient Egyptian glass discovered at Tel El Amarna in the 19th century. The piece had zigzag decoration in different colors. It also had a signature, particularly the suffix letter X, indicating it was made around 1913. The vase had a lot of white sediment inside, which occurred during the making process. This affected the worth of the piece. The value estimated for the item was,
I would say it's worth between $2,000 and $3,000.
Whoa.
Africa is often called the motherland, so we wonder what this collection of tribal clubs from the motherland would be like. The clubs are from an Angolan tribe,
The Chokwe from Angola, and they're known for their fine carving.
All of these clubs were meticulously crafted, with each one carrying its own set of designs.
Designs, and some with studs to embellish them even further.
The clubs are prestigious and are used as a sign of prestige among the tribes people the club originates from. This collection of clubs from the motherland, with its meticulous craftsmanship and design, would auction at
£4,000 for the group.
Wow, it's a bit more than I paid. My daughter would be very happy when she's older.
The guest mother, born in 1918 in Iowa, collected stamps as a child, and fortunately, she preserved a collection of 20 to 25 letters. The guest brought 4 territorial Colorado letters and 2 envelopes. These significant letters, dating back to 1864, were exchanged between Colorado and Iowa. Topics discussed Idaho fever, hair loss, and concerns about interference by Indians with mail delivery. Preserving stamps intact is crucial for their value. Great Britain's stamps lack country names due to their pioneering role. The letters offer insights into Colorado's early history. The Colorado Territory was formed in 1861 from parts of Kansas and Utah territories. One letter mentions a location called Fort Ennis for safety during turbulent times, with a map depicting Fort Kearny or Fort Collinwood on the back. Value of this hidden gem collection sparks fascination with history.
Retail value for the collection would be between $6,000 to $7,500.
My goodness. Okay, thank you.
A guest brought a time recorder to the show that he purchased from the previous abstract title company. It was a mechanical timekeeping device manufactured by the Seth Thomas Clock Company. The unique feature of this time recorder includes its mechanical clockwork mechanism, which allows for precise tracking of time and attendance records. It also represents the industrialization and standardization of timekeeping during the early 20th century. The usefulness of this time recorder lies in its ability to accurately track employee work hours, aiding in payroll management and ensuring punctuality and accountability in the workplace. It's commonly used in factories, offices, and other workplaces during the early to mid-20th century. The appraiser values it at,
in today's marketplace, there's a lot of interest in time recording clocks. And this particular clock, I would probably estimate the value to be about $2,500.
Wow.
A collection of posters was brought by the guest from a dumpster in New York 5 years ago. The posters were created in the silk screen process and showcased the work of notable Puerto Rican artists from the 1950s.
Here we have a Tufino, we
there
have
you
a
go.
Rivera, we have a Lorenzo Homar. These are really artists who helped create the Puerto Rican poster movement in the 1950s.
The posters advertised various aspects of Puerto Rican cultural life, such as movies, reading, and shows, offering a glimpse into the vibrant cultural scene of the 1950s. The appraiser admired one of the posters in the top center, which was advertising a movie by Carlos Rivera. The vibrant colors made it an exceptional piece. The appraiser ranked the top 3 posters as the best out of all the 6. The total estimated value of the 6 posters was,
The total estimate is $4,500 to $6,600 just for these 6.
Okay, all right, great. That's good news.
After catching her staring at this picture at work many times, this guest boss decided to gift it to her. Her boss had inherited the piece from his uncle and obviously had no clue what it was. It was made by Thomas Hart Benton, who is one of the most famous American artists of the 20th century. This piece is an original signed lithograph, which he was popularly known for. Benton liked to use his work to highlight political messages and the struggles of the common man. This one was titled County Politics and was made 2 years before he died in 1975. The lithograph is based on a painting that Benton made in the 1950s. Our guest thought the piece would be worth $1,500, but she was shell-shocked to find out that the auction value was between $5,000 to $8,000. Hopefully, her boss doesn't ask for her to return it. This guest brought to the show a signed Elvis Presley souvenir scarf that she had gotten during one of his concerts. Elvis Aaron Presley was an American singer and actor known as the King of Rock and Roll. The story behind the scarf is an interesting one because of the way she had to pass through various hurdles before she eventually got one directly from Elvis himself. Interestingly, another guest with the same Elvis signed souvenir scarf was invited to the show. The guest explained how she got the souvenir scarf at Elvis Presley's concert held at Brown County Arena in 1977. Although the signature on the scarf is a facsimile, it still commands a considerable amount of value in the auction market. The appraiser valued the scarves at around $800 to $1,200 each. The guest brought in a painting inherited from his parents, likely purchased in Chicago in the 1940s. The artist behind this work is Raymond Johnson, known for abstract landscapes and spiritual themes. He was most associated with New Mexico, born in 1891 in Iowa, and grew up mostly in Oregon. The painting, dated 1937, exemplified Johnson's focus on form, movement, and rhythm in abstract art.
And you see varying colored planes here, and you see the undulating forms, which relates all to the rhythm and to the spirituality.
Johnson was a leading figure in the Transcendentalist art movement in New Mexico. In terms of this particular piece, it's a bit paler in palette than some of his other works. However, while the painting has minor paint losses, it's in good condition, and Johnson's popularity in the art market places it in an estimated gallery value of...
The gallery price would be $50,000.
Wow, I'm astonished. That is amazing.
This woman inherited a 150-year-old book worth up to $75,000 from her grandmother. The book had signatures of famous people like Leo Tolstoy, Rudyard Kipling, Mark Twain, and even Einstein. Back in the late 18th and early 19th century, her family owned hotels in Sorrento and Florence. These signatures came from the people who were either guests or friends of guests at the hotel from that time. The book with all the stamps on it had a value of up to $35,000. However, if sold as solo pieces, these signatures had an estimated value of up to $75,000. The woman was very happy to hear the value. Then...
So your grandmother gave you a great gift. Thank you for bringing it.
Thank you so much. It was my pleasure.
Found this giant blue glass box on a trip to London and carried it home in her lap on the airplane.
At an antique shop. My parents were living in India at the time, and they went on a holiday to England, and that's where she found it.
Originally thought to be Venetian glass in 18th century, it's actually Bohemian, possibly Mercer glass from the late 19th century. The size, however, is incredibly large. It was made in Austria, and they were called jewel caskets. Currently, they are called jewel boxes, or dresser boxes, or vanity boxes. The large size, its vibrant blue color, and beautiful enameling makes it highly desirable. The guest mother paid just $100 for it, but the estimated value currently is between...
Today, in a nice antique show or a nice shop, would be $2,500 to $3,500.
Oh, my. Oh, wow, that's wonderful.
When a brothel was closing down, our guest father was asked to pick anything from the building. He picked this drabware cheese plate. Our guest had been told that the piece was from Wedgwood, which was a popular collector's item. Wedgwood was a popular English manufacturer of fine china and porcelain in the 18th to 19th century. However, when a descendant of Wedgwood visited her home 40 years ago and was asked to borrow the plate for a show, he refused. Our appraiser clarified her doubts by informing her that he had refused because Wedgwood did not make the plate. The drabware was unmarked, and so the creator is unknown. Its value was estimated at $200 to $400. The value was a lot less than the owner hoped, so she decided to use the cheese plate in her home.
Oh, I'll use it.
Go ahead.
I'll put it on the dining room table and put cheese in it.
Excellent.
The guest speculates it's a Pacific Northwest slave killer, but the appraiser corrects, identifying it as a club from the Pacific Northwest. Clubs like these were made by people who were once enslaved, such as the Haida and the Tlingit. It's made of whalebone and identified as late 19th century Na-Cha-North Indian creation, with a fine, even serrated edge, resembling the file marks left by a bandsaw.
This is a piece of whalebone that has been cut with a bandsaw. The Nuchalnuth didn't have them on the Northwest Coast in the 18th century.
The design features a wolf, significant in Nuchalnuth spirituality, and also depicts a double-headed sea monster known as Sisatl. It was likely used as a chief's baton, which increases its expected value.
This has a value of somewhere in the neighborhood of $4,000 to $6,000.
Really? Wow, that's pretty good.
Still better than you thought?
Yeah, a lot better.
While searching for a present for her husband, who shared a birthday with George Washington, this guest stumbled upon this picture in an antique shop in Texas. The picture was believed to be a mourning picture from 3 presidents, Washington, Jefferson, and Adams. This silk embroidery picture was made in South Hadley, Massachusetts, at the Abbey Wright School from 1803 to 1811, where girls were taught reading, writing, arithmetic, and embroidery. Over the years, Abbey Wright's mourning pictures have become very popular. Abbey Wright's originals are known for their characteristic paintings on silk and intricate stitching patterns. A distinct silver thread was also used to adorn the urns in the painting. The owner saved a week's salary to afford the $500 price tag for this painting, but how much was it worth now? The appraiser estimated the worth of the painting to be $15,000 to $20,000. The owner was so happy, she almost fainted.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I'm going to faint.
Right.
The guest brought a schoolhouse play set that her uncle gave her in 1970, which he played with as a little boy. Her uncle was born in 1898, originally from Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and the guest was his closest relative.
Really didn't have any children, so I was talking to him one day about becoming a school teacher, and so he gave me this.
Made by Crandall, who made wonderful toys from the 1850s well into the 19th century, this is one of their most popular toys. It's so fascinating that this would be such a popular toy, because today it wouldn't be such a popular toy. It's basically one of the first play sets with a schoolmaster at his desk, Mary and her lamb, and a dunce chair with a dunce cap. The dunce chair and dunce cap are additions, which you definitely wouldn't find in any modern-day school set. It's a great little set with its original box and paper label. The current value at auction would be,
I would say in today's market, you're looking at around $800 to $1,200.
Oh, wow, that's exciting.
The guest came with the Earl Pardon Mosaic Bracelet. She got it from her husband, who purchased it for her. Earl Pardon started life as a painter. It was here a mosaic, little panels of enameled silver and gold with gemstones. The piece dates from the mid-'80s. An auction estimate would be in the range of $4,000 to $5,000.
behind the mask lies the gateway to anonymity, where identities blur and secrets thrive. It came up that someone bought a mask from Burkina Faso at a yard sale in Maryland. Back then, the guest bought it for just $15. They found it interesting because the seller mentioned her husband worked at a museum. This mask originates from the region formerly known as Upper Volta, now recognized as Burkina Faso. It represents the cultural heritage of the Nuna tribe, located in the central area of Burkina Faso. They thought it was one of the few real masks they'd seen on the show. They explained how the mask was used to talk to a higher power and showed how it's supposed to be worn. Most importantly, it could sell for $5,000 to $7,000.
Oh my word.
Yep.
I would have, oh my God.
Yeah, this is really a nice, good, solid mask. It's in good condition and it's old.
Oh my gosh, thank you
Should I
so
say
much.
congratulations?
Yes, you should.
This is a portrait by John James Otoman, the guest's triple great-grandfather in 1821. Otoman made this portrait in exchange for a $100 loan he received from the guest's ancestor to return to France. John James Otoman was more famous for his ornithological images than for his portraits. He painted portraits, including deathbed ones, which were popular before photography. He typically charged $5, but because he received $100 for this portrait, he put in extra effort, making it rare. Only a few of his portraits appear on the market. It's created using charcoal, ink, and wash. In addition, there is a document dated August 1777, indicating the guest's ancestors' release of sovereignty to the crown in England. Additionally, there is a continental $20 bill. The value of the oath of allegiance is between $500 and $1,000, while the Colonial 20 is worth about $75 to $100. The value of the portrait
is worth, at auction, $30,000 to $50,000.
Wow. That's impressive.
The guest brings in a set of miniature tin houses, which she purchased from a friend, an antique dealer. The appraiser identifies the maker as Louis Marks, a prominent tin toy maker from the 1920s to 1950s, known for beautiful lithography and decorative packaging. The set depicts themes: newlywed rooms, kitchen, library, dining room, and Main Street stores. The appraiser highlights these were not wind-up toys and used recycled parts from other Marks creations.
They recycled some of the parts from their other toys in these things.
The appraiser mentions that this is the first time they've seen these on the Roadshow and that these sets weren't initially valued highly. The appraiser emphasizes the rarity of seeing this set and its charming qualities. The appraiser estimates the entire set to be worth $2,400, a significant increase from the $24 the guest paid.
Wow.
Yes.
The painting was presented by the guest, who bought it from the Johnny Mercer estate. Johnny Mercer was certainly one of the great songwriters and lyricists of the 20th century. The appraiser highlighted that Mercer was not known for painting, but rather for his songwriting. His songs were among the most successful hits of the time. The painting, dated 1965, was acquired by the guest for $20, approximately 15 to 20 years prior. Despite Mercer not being known for his painting, the particular piece's value was estimated to be,
in the Savannah area, I think something like this would probably get about $800 to $1,000.
Well, that's wonderful. My $20 pay it off.
I think so.
the guest presents an intriguing 20th century genre painting, a departure from the illustrator's usual style. Created by Falter, renowned for his illustrations, particularly for the Saturday Evening Post, this piece offers a glimpse into the artist's versatility. The painting captures the essence of a 20th century scene, reflecting Falter's mastery of genre painting. While it may deviate from his more renowned illustrations, it is a unique perspective and it adds depth to the body of his work. Despite its departure from Falter's typical style, its value remains significant. For insurance, the estimated value would be,
I think we're looking at about $2,500.
That's tremendous. Thank you very much.
the guest brought a Chinese Cinnabar lacquer box to the show, which he got from a friend. This Chinese Cinnabar lacquer box is handcrafted from wood and coated with a layer of Cinnabar lacquer, which is a dark red lacquer made from mercury sulfide. The production of Cinnabar was a highly specialized skill in China. Lacquerware was made for a variety of purposes, including as a container for valuables, as a decorative piece, and as a gift. It is very durable, resistant to moisture, and has a glossy finish. And the design is typically quite intricate and detailed. The color of the Cinnabar lacquer is vibrant and eye-catching. The appraiser values it.
Nowadays, a box like this is worth between like $15,000 and $20,000.
Wow, with a lot more reverence. Maybe a little velvet and better light.
Yeah.
While you may have encountered numerous letters, this particular correspondence from Robert F. Kennedy, written in the wake of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s passing, holds exceptional significance. Addressing vital civil rights issues, Kennedy emphasizes the need for substantial action to aid the disadvantaged.
Robert F. Kennedy was doing a lot of work for civil rights, and so I wrote to him telling him how much I was affected.
Advocating for essentials like food, education, jobs, and homes.
I probably have not seen a Robert Kennedy letter as heartfelt as this one.
At one juncture in the letter, he expresses the belief that the moment calls for bold and imaginative action. It resonates lies not just in its value, but in its timeless call for justice and compassion. Despite the usual modest value of Kennedy's letters, this one's profound message elevates its worth, estimated to be $2,000 to $3,000 at auction.
In 1946, Lincoln University awarded Dr. Einstein an honorary degree. The guest husband, a freelance photographer, captured the event. The first photograph captures Einstein heading to the ceremony, visibly struggling with stomach issues, and his subsequent signature on it adds to its significance. The guest husband sent copies to Einstein's daughter, who later returned this one with signatures. The second rare photo is taken before the start of the rare informal lecture. At the event, Einstein addressed racism drawing from his refugee experiences, and also delved into pressing topics such as the atomic bomb and relativity theory. The third photo shows him engaging with top students during this rare occasion. A description accompanying the photo shows Einstein's answer to a student's question about relativity theory. The signed photograph holds historical and scholarly significance, valued at $6,000 to $8,000.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for bringing us a very interesting window into the life of Einstein.
This pottery piece was bought by the guest for $125. It was a type of Italian pottery often referred to as faience or majolica. Majolica pieces were typically earthenware and known for their colorful glazes and intricate design patterns. The appraiser highlighted its hand-painted mark on the back indicating Ginori. The age of the piece was estimated to be from the 1870s or 1880s. The appraiser estimated the item's value to be around.
This would probably sell retail, like in a major antique show, for somewhere between $3,000 and $4,000.
I am very pleased.
The guest brought signed film director and actor photographs. They are the collectible of items sought after by enthusiasts. They feature portraits of directors along with their signatures. This collecting practice gained popularity in the 20th century with the rise of cinema and celebrity culture. Their fascinating values include its authenticity and condition. Certificates of authenticity can increase their value. The appraiser valued it to be...
If we start talking values, Alfred Hitchcock, a signed photograph from him auctions anywhere between $600 and $800. A signed Charlie Chaplin, auction value, again, between $600 and $800. A Fellini signed photograph, auction value between $100 to $150. Erich von Stroheim. If it were on the photo here, we have actually a cut sheet of paper, so if it were on the photo, it would be a bit more. He's probably between $200 to $300 at auction. And then we have Andy Warhol down here, $400 to $600. We have Fritz Lang over here, $400 to $600. So taking in the scope of your collection, it's kind of mind-boggling. I think a very conservative auction estimate for the whole collection would be at least $30,000 to $40,000.
Oh, that's great.
The guest brought Ranson caricature portfolio to the show. He got it as a gift from a friend of his. It's created by Thomas Ranson and published in 1800. The Ranson caricature portfolio has a collection of satirical drawings. The portfolio consists of 25 hand-colored prints. The drawings depict contemporary British life. They satirized the upper and middle classes. The prints included the book club and a monument to Grub Street. The appraiser valued it to be...
This portfolio is worth about $35,000.
Pretty expensive. Thank you very much. That's very interesting.
Absolutely.
I learned a lot.
The guest inherited the stunning pendant brooch, which has been in the family since 1922, starting with their great-grandmother. Brooch features gold, silver, diamonds, emeralds, and pearls. The craftsmanship and metalwork suggest it may be from Europe. Brooch's design includes a phoenix motif, unusual for the period, but possibly influenced by Art Nouveau. It features 2 rose-cut diamonds flanking a cabochon emerald, typical of the era, and 3 pearl drops. Design is reminiscent of stomacher pieces worn in the 1500s, estimated to be worth $20,000 to $30,000 at auction.
Wow. That's great.
The unique pair of carved door panels was brought by the guest. Being an antique dealer, she acquired them at an estate sale in Meridian, Idaho for $500. The appraiser was impressed by the intricate detail and craftsmanship. The guest also had a picture that showed the door panels hanging in a parlor. The panels were Italian and dated from the mid-16th century. The appraiser identified the intricate wood inlay technique on the panels known as intarsias.
An intarsia is a technique that's been around since the Egyptian times. And it's inlaying woods of different types and coloring the woods to create three-dimensional effect.
The design depicted a detailed battle scene, with carvings done using a variety of woods. How much are these incredible panels worth?
I would put an auction estimate on this pair of carved panels at $20,000.
Oh my stars.
To $30,000.
Wow. Wow. That's exciting.
This treasured bowl, passed down through generations within a family, recently caught the eye of a friend who suspected its origins were notable. From an intuition, proved correct as it was crafted by Susan Frankleton, a renowned artist hailing from Milwaukee. It's adorned with intricate designs inspired by nature, and it also includes clusters of grapes and heartfelt expressions of love. The bowl exemplifies Franklinton's artistic prowess. If you look closely, you'll observe that Susan Franklinton has inscribed an incised S followed by her complete last name Franklinton underneath it. Additionally, she's included the date 1902 at the bottom. Upon expert examination, its value was estimated to be significant, ranging from a whopping $20,000 to $30,000. Possibility of its value increasing if acquired by a museum added to the family's excitement.
Wow. Me without my handkerchief.
This piece belonged to the guest's father, who got it as a gift.
And the man who ran the dining room, wife got very ill, and it turned out she was dying of cancer, and my father took care of her. And when it was all over, he refused to give the man a bill of any sort, and shortly thereafter, this appeared in my father's office.
The painting is by Percy Gray. He was born in San Francisco and was of English heritage. He changed his signature from black letters into this script signature in 1910. So we know this painting is from after 1910.
It's pretty hard to date it more specifically than to say it was painted between 1910 and the end of his life around 1950.
He painted more in what's called a tonalist style,
which is the more muted, dreamier, softer, quieter style. And there's a lot of interest in tonalism in America now.
As for the value is concerned, at auction today, this would sell for...
If you were to see this picture at auction today, I suspect the estimate would be somewhere in the $10,000 to $15,000 range.
I beg your pardon?
Between $10,000 and $15,000. I hope that's not a disappointment.
Only a few people can boast of experiencing how it felt to be a baseball legend, and today's guest fits the description perfectly. We have here an ultra-rare archive of baseball legend Ty Cobb.
He was great at the stock market also. Of course, Coca-Cola was how he started making his millions.
He convinced my mother and dad to buy about $3,000 in Coca-Cola stock about that time.
During his time, Cobb was considered a living legend due to his achievements in his playing career.
It's a batting by Ty Cobb. And if we look at the inside of this cover here, we see that it's signed by Ty Cobb. And the same with this other program.
We can see here his archives are a masterpiece and well detailed, as it gives us the chance to experience what it felt like to be at the peak of baseball. It is for this reason that to many collectors, this archive would be almost priceless and therefore attract the auction estimate of
$25,000 to $30,000.
Wow.
Are you surprised by the value that you have here?
I actually thought it was a little higher.
This woman's father got an original art piece as a gift from Frank Lloyd Wright. Back in 1951, Frank Lloyd designed a house. A few years later, that house needed repair. Her father was the one who helped rebuild the house. Frank Lloyd Wright gave the painting as a gift to her father for his great work. This is an original artwork of his and has lots of details. The painting had a value of up to $35,000. The woman was happy to know that.
Wow. Well, I know my dad would be very pleased.
This man brought a wrought iron to the show. His great-great-grandfather made this piece. Made for the Columbian Exposition, this wrought iron was crafted in 1893. Looking at this piece, we see the level of craftsmanship and the amount of detail put into its crafting. What do you think this wrought iron with superb craftsmanship would sell for? This piece, likely sourced from Greenwich, Connecticut, was once owned by the guest's grandfather. As the guest recounted its journey from Greenwich to Kipahulu on Maui, the appraiser attentively absorbed the details, tracing its familial path to its current owner. Imbued with a passion for aged wood and 18th century craftsmanship, the appraiser identified it as a dressing table from Philadelphia, crafted circa 1745 to 1750. With precision, they explored each aspect, revealing a past alteration that, despite affecting its value, did not diminish its charm or significance. With the best cabriole legs in Philadelphia, the top was made with a wonderful tiger maple. Upon lifting the top, the tigering, which is the curly figure on the inside of the case, matched that on the top.
Clearly from the same wood source. Also the oxidation, the discoloration from being exposed to the little bit of air that was getting in there, matches. So we know that those two pieces of wood, the side of this case and this top, have been next to each other, we feel, for about 250 years.
The appraiser further revealed how the holes on the tables should match and how amazingly they all matched. The appraiser estimated the value of this ancient beauty to be
The top, original but reshaped. The value of this on the East Coast, let's say it's probably worth a little more on the East Coast, would be about $12,000 retail. Okay.
What we have here is a 1960 GMT Master model Rolex. This Rolex is the first model of GMT Master that Rolex ever made. The watch, model 6542, was purchased in Germany by the guest. Quite unique, this particular watch is in remarkable condition, considering its age.
Well, this watch is totally complete. You have the watch.
While the bracelet has been replaced, the original bracelet is included in the box, along with the watch's original paperwork.
You purchased it in April of 1960.
Correct.
Accompanying the watch is its original sales receipt, brochure, and hang tags, completing the set and adding to its rarity. This watch is not only a valuable timepiece, but also a piece of history that's estimated to be worth
Easily today, it's $65,000 to $75,000 in the market. Probably more than a month's pay in the military right now.
Wow.
This bookcase, a treasured heirloom, was gifted to the owner's grandfather during his tenure at the YMCA in Portland in 1902. Despite struggles, he turned the organization into a success story. The cabinet maker, Mr. Stodley, remains a mystery, adding intrigue to its narrative. The glass doors showcase masterful craftsmanship. Uncommonly, it stands as a rare presentation piece, distinct from typical silver pieces. Wood used, including redwood and fumed oak, reflects Oregon's abundant timber industry. Fumed oak, a technique involving steaming, enriches the wood's natural hue. Despite blending styles, it holds a significant place in Portland's history. This piece embodies the legacy of craftsmanship in Oregon. Estimated auction value could range from
auction you would expect to reach maybe $2,500, $3,500, I think would be a fair and conservative estimate.
The updated value of this masterpiece is $1,000 to $1,500. Guest brought this book, purchased as a piece of junk, for $50, but the appraiser found it to be a rare and valuable collection of colonial printings. The book was a sammelband, a German term for a collected volume, containing an incomplete copy of the laws of Massachusetts and several separately printed acts from 1756 to 1757. The acts and broadsides within were related to maritime affairs and the French and Indian Wars, making it particularly interesting for Canada. The broadsides, single sheets of paper printed on one side, were posted around town and extend the acts previously discussed. One broadside featured a woodcut of the Royal Arms, indicating it was printed in Boston when it was an English colony. Due to its rarity and historical significance, the appraiser estimated the value of the book at auction to be
a total of 17 colonial printings here, and I would think at auction the value could be anywhere between $5,000 and $10,000.
Wow. So very good.
Stilt Step, or Pepe Hiba, is a key part of Marquesan culture since at least the early 19th century. It adorned her mother's house since her childhood, when her uncle gifted it to her. Originating from a small Pacific island known as the Marquise Island, it's the outer part of the pole where the stilt walker places their foot for stability. Marquesan artisans skillfully crafted these structures using local materials like breadfruit tree timber. Intricate carvings inside serve as foot grips for competitions where participants push or race each other. The lines on the body depict tattooing, a common tradition among both males and females in Marquesan culture. They symbolize the Marquesans' ingenuity in adapting to their environment and their prowess in craftsmanship. Furthermore, intricate carvings and designs were frequently showcased, revealing the artistic talents of the island's inhabitants. Stilt steps endure as Marquesan cultural symbols, testament to their lasting legacy. The Marquesas stilt step received high appraisal from the appraiser.
The retail value would be very comfortable at $7,000 to $8,000.
Really?
Oh, yes.
Wow, that's great.
This piece was painted by an American artist and illustrator, Howard C. Christie, widely known for his iconic World War I military recruitment and Liberty Loan posters. The guest purchased the painting at an estate sale in New Jersey. As seen, the painting depicts a scene of the early baseball, possibly at either Yankee Stadium or the Polo Grounds.
Baseball. What could be more American than baseball?
The painting itself is an oil on canvas. It captures a nostalgic view of baseball, a quintessential American pastime.
The way that you have the circular roof line may be more consistent with the Polo Grounds than Yankee Stadium. So I think we'll leave that open as to the exact location.
Considering this piece's artist and quality, it's estimated to be worth.
We think that in today's market, if your Howard Chandler Christie painting was offered at auction, the value is $15,000 to $25,000.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Wow.